Hiya, it's Kaya. Welcome to a new doing of freckles for me. It's been about a year and a half, maybe a year, since the last time I did freckles on myself. I do like experimenting on myself before I will try anything on any one client. So I found a new technique that I wanted to try out, and I wanted to give you guys kind of a look into how it went and if I will be using this technique in the future. As you can see on my face, these are kind of what my freckles look like now. Some are darker, some are lighter, different inks, different needles, different techniques. This one, machine, still there, would not recommend it. So I just like to show you guys what I'm doing when it comes to the thing that I love doing, freckles. I don't like hiding anything or like some secret technique that I use. I don't care that you guys see it. I know that you guys know that I'm one of the, like, probably my flu. Tooting my own horn. Probably one of the better ones out there, just because I do it so often, and my goal is to always have everybody look natural depending on what they want, and still make it look fun. So anyway, now that we've gotten that through, that terrible intro, I'm going to be trying out a new technique, like I said, that I was going to be doing, but I also have some pigments that I wanted to kind of swatch on myself and see which one I like better. Now, the pigments I use are Derma International. I feel like they look a little more natural. They've been in the industry for like 20 years or so, 20 plus years probably, and they do fade. And I don't use them for brows because they fade a little too much for my liking, but I do like using them for freckles, because I think if your goal is to only have a freckle for, let's say, 6 months to a year and have them fade to a really light brown to a light golden brown, they're the ones that I like using. I also use another ink for people who, this is alcohol, by the way, for people who want to have freckles stay on forever and don't want to come to me for retouches necessarily. I use that ink, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say exactly what it is, so maybe I won't until I get kind of a confirmation on exactly if it's okay or not. But I do use that one on myself, and I found a one that I think meets my needs and my goals. So I'm going to be, and I've used it before in a different color. So as you can see, Derma International are the lightest spots that you can see. It's kind of fuzzy, I apologize. I'm using a very terrible rig. The darkest ones are the other one that I use. And although I do like the color and they match my skin, and there has been pretty much very little fading comparatively, it's just too dark of a color for me to use consistently throughout my entire face. I don't want that much of a contrast. Some people do, I do not. So, all right, I have alcoholed all of my face. I was wearing makeup, I forgot. So I'm gonna swatch these two pigments and kind of compare. This one is the one I always use, so I'm going to do that here, a little dot, and then I'm just going to smear it to kind of see how it looks. This is what I do on everybody if we're unsure of what we want to do. This is the second pigment. Boop. And then smear. So that pigment dries out pretty dang fast. Let's do. Okay, so first one, Derma International, and the second one, these two are the second pigment. So as you can see, there's an orangey yellow in it. I hope these colors are accurate. Yeah, they're pretty accurate in my mirror. I always go for things that have a yellow base or gold base to them, just because it's the most neutral for skin. When they fade, they will fade to a yellow gold, as opposed to anything that's too heavy on the red side, too heavy on the green, or too heavy, God forbid, on the blue side. So you don't have like these what look like liver spots whenever they are fading. So those are the two individually. Let's see. I'm gonna wipe this one off. The third one is new. So let's kind of see what that third one looks like. I'm gonna do it one more time. Okay. I'm trying to see what the base color is. I'm trying to compare to the first two, and this fourth line is, these are the same, these are different. So from what I can tell, it's definitely neutral on my skin. I do have red cheeks. Despite being of Mexican heritage, I have pretty red cheeks, and I don't tend to tan very easily on my face as opposed to anywhere else. So I would say that this pigment, this new pigment, is not too bad. Like you can see, this one has like a red tint to it, a little bit more. This one has gold. But this one I think is a good, these two are good in between. All right. So yeah, that was the goal, was to kind of decide that I was going to use this new one. I mean, I was going to, I just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what I do when I swatch pigments. So cleaned it off. Okay, so I have a photo in front of me, a Pinterest photo of a beautiful woman with freckles that I assume are natural. Which is beautiful. But the technique that I'm using today is actually a little unorthodox. So I watched Glow Up a few weeks ago. I think there was season 2. And there was an episode on the showdown between the two twins where they do freckles, how to make natural looking freckles. And one of them did the technique that I always do, which is like dot them on. The hard part about using that technique that I do use is making them look a little too symmetrical or a little too like evenly spaced. And you can kind of see that from way back when. Like, I definitely try to unconsciously make things evenly spaced, and freckles do not look like that. They are little dots everywhere. Not symmetrical, they are asymmetrical, and they are randomly spread out. So I knew this was a trick for a while, but when I saw it on Glow Up, I was like, I'm just gonna do it. So what the person to make freckles look natural did is they took a spoolie of their pigment, and I think it was eyeshadow or something, and then they flicked it onto the person's face. And then they blended it in. So what I'm gonna do, and I don't know if this is gonna work or not, I should probably be looking at the camera. What I'm gonna do, and I don't know if this is gonna work or not, is flick tattoo pigment onto my face and see what happens, okay? All right, ready? I'm scared. If I do it this way, I should probably practice this. Whoa, okay. That, no. Okay, mulligan. I do like the technique. Maybe I'll keep some of these. Okay, so I'll wipe this off. We don't need that right there. We don't need this. I'll wipe some of these off. Oh no, this is gonna turn into a muddy mess. Okay. Okay, maybe that's a start. I'm just gonna do this and then tattoo the ones that land. Does that sound like a good idea? Maybe. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe this will be a terrible thing. Okay. I think the problem is that this ink is too watery, maybe? I don't think this is working. This is really sad. All right, well, I thought this could work, but now it's too tiny and it's too everywhere. So I don't think this is gonna work, but that's okay. I mean, this is what we have these trial things for. Ooh. All right, face is relatively cleaner. Oh look, a little dot stayed on there. It's cute, but I'm not gonna keep it. So that didn't work, clearly. The liquid is too thin. I could use a paintbrush maybe and do it, but that will have to wait for another time. But definitely this little mascara brush, the spoolie, isn't working to get the desired freckle results that I need it to. So what we're gonna do now is old school. And it's done. Don't you love it? Beautiful. Just kidding. This is just the pre-draw. I went pretty haphazard and crazy on it, as you can tell, with the smudging and all. This is nothing like I do with my clients. I am very slow, meticulous with the pre-draw. As you saw in my time-lapse videos, like, you can barely tell what is pre-draw versus what is freckle, other than the fact that it's swelling up and hating the fact that I'm poking it. So this is my pre-draw. It's dark because I used the pigment just to drop them on. This is not as dark as it's going to look, but I like the messiness that I see here. So I think I'm gonna go one at a time and freckle. These little guys, I kind of really like. Aren't they just adorable? But I'm gonna take my needle and freckle these in very slowly with my pigment, wipe off, take a look, go back and forth. So I may not end up with as much as you see here, and it will not be as dark as you're seeing right now. This is just pure like pigment. So, all right, so. All right, so apparently the video was too much to do time-lapse wise because it just kept falling, as you probably saw if I even kept any of it. So I just went on without the video since you got the general idea what I was doing. So this is kind of what we ended up with. I'm going to take some witch hazel and calm my skin down and wipe some of the ink off. I decided not to do these. A little too much. Next time. I keep telling myself that. Next time. I'll do that next time. I mean, I ended up doing the red dots eventually, but whew. Okay, so I don't know why I'm trying to keep my eyeliner on. There's no use. Yay! So here we go. A lot smaller, generally, than what I originally dotted on. And that's just because I don't have like a tiny daughter, I just have a medium-sized daughter. So I think we achieved the goal of the randomness that it looks like, if you can see. Problems that I have when I tattoo myself are angle and stretchability while being able to see kind of what I'm doing. So like some of these dots look a little more angular than they probably should. It's my face, I'm okay with it. Otherwise, like, I think generally we like it. Yeah, so they're really dark and my face is red and going to be red for a little bit. That's just how my skin is. It takes about 3 days for the little guys to kind of peel off. 3 to 4 days, and then after that takes about 2 weeks for me to see kind of what they look like healed, a lot more natural. I used a different pigment this time, so I'm excited to see what it looks like healed. I have a pretty good idea that I'm gonna like it, so I'm looking forward to that. I will share photos and update you in a few weeks from now. So